Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another public session of the work of the Citizens' Assembly on Gender Equality. The citizens have been discussing at their round tables the question, which maybe you can also see on the screen. It is that citizens are asked, do you agree with the conclusions of the Constitutional Convention concerning Article 41.2, which is the clause on the woman in the home? And if not, what would you propose instead? And we're now going to get some quick feedback from the roundtables to hear how far the citizens have come in their discussions. This is a topic that we will return to in future sessions as well, but it would be very good now to hear the first outcomes of the deliberations of the citizens on that question. So can we hear from Table 1, please?
Thank you, Chair. The citizens from Table 1 considered this topic, and there were mixed views. One was that this should be removed completely from the Constitution, but there was also a view that it should be retained within the Constitution, but it should be amended to be gender neutral. Thank you.
Yes, the citizens at this table 2 broadly agreed with the conclusions of the Constitutional Convention concerning Article 41.2. There was some variation in terms of the level of obligation that should be placed on the state. 2 citizens selected number 3, level 3, that is, shall provide a reasonable level of support. 1 citizen selected level 4, and 3 citizens selected level 5, namely shall support.
You. Yes, the majority of the citizens at Table 3 agreed with the conclusions. However, they would like a definition on what reasonable level of support means. Is it financial or emotional? And 1 citizen mostly agreed, but would like to understand more on the issue around caring beyond the home. In the context of the Assembly, they felt that we're not working with finite information and it was not enough to make a decision. And then there was 1 comment on the basic language of the Constitution uses the term common good as a cornerstone, and they felt that we need to build on our understanding of what common good means.
The citizens at Table 4 also unanimously agreed with the conclusions of the Constitutional Convention that it should not remain the same. However, there was, similarly to Table 3, some uncertainty about what the question meant. Do you want to include carers beyond the home? And they would like further clarity on what that meant. In response to the last part, there was some variation in the responses by the citizens to the level of obligation that the state should provide. 4 citizens selected a scale of 3, which would provide a reasonable level of support, and 2 citizens at the table selected a scale of 5 that they shall support. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The citizens at Table 5 were also broadly in agreement with the conclusions of the Constitutional Convention in relation to the role of the woman in the home. There was concern at the table, though, in relation to the language of the provisions that the citizens were asked to look at. And there was also concern as to how the citizens were being asked to propose new things in relation to language that the citizens didn't really fully understand, and they felt that perhaps with the benefit of legal expert assistance in deciphering the language and what they were being asked to define and to understand would be of benefit going forward.
The citizens at this table broadly agreed with the Convention recommendations. However, there's a couple of things they'd just like to add. Make it gender neutral to include other carers in the home and non-binary. They'd like the word mothers, where it's used, endeavour to ensure that mothers change to guardians. And they agreed with number 5, shall support. And that lastly, a right to a home shall be recognised. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The citizens at table number 7, in terms of the convention recommendations, in terms of the first part, Article 41.2, there was broad consensus. However, one point that was raised by one of the citizens was, in terms of the level of support, that maybe it's not achievable and it's more aspirational. Then in terms of Article 41.2.2, there was mixed views as well as some confusion. One point raised was that it needs to be in plainer English, and that's the views of table 7. Thank you.
The citizens at table 8 were unanimous in their decision, and first of all, has been said by some of the other tables, looking for further clarification on 2.1, meaning carer beyond the home. Also to make it gender neutral, and agree for it to remain in the Constitution, however, have it amended, and also how can it be actually given more credence or power. And the last one, clarification on the ruling of the common good supersedes the Constitution, and that was referring to the Nicholas case in UK.
The citizens at table 9 agree with results but have concerns with: do you want to include carers beyond the home? This needs to be defined and clarified for the protection of children with these carers. There was divided opinion between endeavour to support and provide a reasonable level of support. Thank you.
The citizens at table 10 were broadly in agreement with the outcome of the Constitutional Convention. I suppose the split in relation to care, the level of care that would be provided was very similar as well. I think 3, 3 and 1. There was one issue with the reference to mothers and their neglect of their duties in the home within section 41.2. That people felt to be extremely sexist and would need to be amended.
The citizens at table 11 were in agreement with the conclusions of the Constitutional Convention and voted 5-0. In relation to it, they had a number of observations. Observation 1 was that the government is reneging on 41.2.2 as government supports are not adequate. The citizens requested a definition regarding carers beyond the home, and where there is reference to supports, does it include financial? And the last observation from the citizens was that the support should be for both men and women if they are carers, but there was concern highlighted on the potential for unintended consequences if it reinforces gender stereotypes that the woman would be at home as the carer and also woman's role in the workforce.
The majority of the citizens did not agree and would like Article 41.2 removed from the Constitution. However, one citizen would like it retained in its current form.
Afternoon. On table 13, the citizens unanimously agreed with the changes but said it should be gender and place neutral.
Afternoon. The citizens at table 14 largely agreed with the spirit of the convention conclusions but could not formally say yes as they felt certain aspects should be amended. Their proposals included that it should include carers and be more gender neutral. The majority agreed with the table relating to Article 41.22 that it should be changed rather than deleted. However, one citizen at the table felt that Article 41.2.2 should be removed. They felt that the convention recommendations relating to option 3 and option 5 was too vague, as there could be a huge difference between a reasonable level of support and child support. In the alternative, the citizens felt that there should be a stay-at-home payment provided, and this could be done by a minimum threshold by legislation. They felt that this could also be, one citizen felt that this also could be means tested.
Thank you very much indeed. That's extremely interesting, and again, very rich in terms of a range of views, questions that we will answer in the next session. And this brings now to an end the live streaming for this weekend session of the Citizens' Assembly on Gender Equality.